Hello and welcome to my video about Artfight, where I am going to discuss what I've done as a first year to try and maximize my potential out of this competition. I'm going to be talking about the teams and the rules and how to set up your profile and the reference sheets. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Artfight. Artfight is an annual competitive game that lasts 1 month only for July, where you can draw people's OCs and characters and they draw yours. In Artfight you are split into a few teams. This year's are 3 teams where you have to draw each other's characters, and that is called an attack. When you attack members of the other team, you can get points based on a system I still don't understand. I think it's people who give the points. And to attack back is to defend yourself from their already finished attack. The rules are pretty hard to explain, so it is best to go read it yourself because these are a must. These are really important, and I can't really summarize them, so it's best that you read them yourself. The ratings are based on a few factors, such as the size of your painting, the media, be it 3D, real life, or on devices, and whether it is an animation or not. There is also a polish feature which shows your art, which gives it more points, I think, based on how much time you spent on it. It's to prove that you spent a lot of time on this. Though honestly, I feel like it might be a little unfair. I know some people that spend 30 hours on drawings and it's not always the best. And well, I spend usually just 10 hours maximum, so at least it says pride. Now that you know everything, you are going to have to create an account. All you have to do is simply click register or log in based on whether you have or have not competed before. All you have to give is your email address. If you are logging in, then you may give your username instead. And only one person is allowed per email address. And that actually caused me a really big problem when I was logging in, because it appears I had made an account before, I just never really participated. So as soon as you're done filling out your login or your sign in, all you have to do is click on either register or sign in, depending on what you're doing, and you've finally entered Artfight! Woohoo! Number 2, decorating your profile. To do this, it's pretty simple. You follow my mouse, go over to the help tab, and you will see an official link posted where you can go to their toy house world thing and you can see all of the assets. You can use CSS or HTML, whichever one you're good at or whichever one you prefer, and there are assets for every single team every single year ever since it started, and it's all amazing. But I am pretty sure you do have to donate to use these. Donate to Artfight, I am not completely sure, and you can unlock more based on how much you donate. Next you have the teams, which are this year comedy, mystery, and tragedy. All you have to do is scroll to the top right and click on team settings, then you go down and choose whichever team you want. Frankly, I don't think I would have fit in mystery or tragedy, so I chose comedy. But I'm not too trustworthy in our team. I might change it later. Last but not least are the characters. Woohoo! The characters are split into 2 parts. their details and their reference sheet, and I'm going to be talking about the reference sheet now. If you see mine, it's pretty big and has a lot of things in multiple forms, but a reference sheet does not have to be like that at all. All it is a simple drawing to explain your character so that the artist knows what they're drawing. All it has to include are the important things, such as their outfits, their details, their color schemes, and I put like small stuff in my reference sheet, like small text and whatever, to sort of explain, small explanation of the character. It is really simplified and broken down. And it's really important to not make it over exaggerated or like over designed, so that the viewer does not have any problem with seeing, or the artist does not have any problems in trying to understand your reference sheet, because you're not trying to make their life hell. You want them to draw your characters. That's a great thing, and they're drawing them for free. You're not even commissioning them. So it is important that you keep it nice and easy to read, such as using colors that are not eye-straining. More specifically in the backgrounds and stuff, like if your character is pretty eye-strained, you can't really do anything about that. Whereas the background can be a little more simplified, something to fit their aesthetic. It can literally just be text, just their name, or their title, or whatever mortals call them. It doesn't have to be too hard. A very important thing in reference sheets is callouts and label lines. Callouts are small boxes that zoom into a specific detail of your drawing to make it bigger and more obvious, details that you might initially brush off so that you can draw it well. Such as making small details, small symbols on the outfits larger in view so that the artist can draw them properly, or showing that something is really zooming on something really specific to show what it is, not what it can be interpreted as. And these are really important if you do want your drawing to be completely lore accurate. Otherwise, instead of a heroic knightly symbol, you may just get a random button because nobody even saw what it is. Whereas label lines are small pieces of writing that focus on small details, or not even small details, just details that are not too obvious and have to be focused on. This is specifically focused on the lore of the character, like, their fabric is often like strained because they just lost weight, or the clothes are a little cut up because they like that, not because they're poor, they're really rich. Or the what else can be labeled out? Their eyes, that if your colors are blending into each other, if you have a soft shading style, you can use label lines to show it's heterochromia or something. It just has to show your character, to explain it well. If visual indication is not helping, you can use label lines. Another thing is that references are supposed to be small and comprehensible. So when making one, you are not supposed to spend too much time on it, really, in case you want to add way too many details, in case your character is like over detailed, but you should probably tone it down if you want to spend more than like 10 hours on it. Yeah, make sure to use all of the shortcuts on your apps, be it the what's it called, the anatomy thing on Clip Studio, or especially lasso, filling everything quickly, no bucket tool, get rid of that thing, that's for the grandpas. Or whichever shortcuts you have, like Procreate, turning shapes into the actual correct shape if you press with 2 or 3 fingers. Just use them all. Make use of every single one of them. There is literally no purpose in making them if you're going to spend hours on hours on hours. That's just going to be hard for both you and the person who's doing this, and it's not going to be fun. You're just going to waste everybody's time, make them spend more than a day on a drawing, when, you know, you're supposed to be kicking, having fun, making like a drawing every day or something. Oh, a note for drawing every day is that you need to get used to drawing every day. If you have goals to make a lot of drawings during Artfight, you need to start drawing a lot before Artfight, because you're not going to suddenly get into this habit. And I know I'm saying this too late, it's 15 days left by the time I am recording and editing this video, but you need to get used to Artfight. You need to get used to the habits of drawing quickly and finishing sketches immediately, like in 5 minutes, and finishing all of your art very fast. If that is your goal, of course, which it probably is, you know, to get more points for your team. Where are my comedy? Where are my comedy pals at? Yeah, you need to give me some motivation. I'm going to try and carry this team, y'all. I'm going to draw every day. So you need to get yourself into this habit. And what I'm going to try and do next year is to try and draw more. That's probably going to fail due to exams. And last but not least, finally, the character description and permissions. These are honestly like really easy. You just go into edit as shown, and the description is going to be split, as I do it, into 4 parts. A small sentence, a young ex-IPC, and then it's going to be split, the second half is going to be split into 3 important parts. The first few sentences are going to be personality, then enter, and the next few lines are going to be about the backstory, the important backstory. You don't have to give all of it, obviously, because that's going to take forever. This is just like a small note for whoever is reading, so they could like sort of understand what your character is going through. Yeah, so you're going to do like a small backstory, and then finally going to be the details that are not shown in your drawing, and that like cannot be really like inferred. Starting with the first line, it should preferably either say job or species, or, you know, like depending on the importance. Actually, in Corin, it's like a really important part of her lore that she used to work with the IPC but then she quit. Whereas with Cordelia, it's pretty important that she's a Merlopian siren. So like the very important things about your character that must be known while you're making them, that cannot really be shown. Details that you don't know, like, oh, she's a mad scientist, oh, it's a 16-year-old boy, it's blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. And then you are going to have the personality thing. I like to write at least 2 words. Just 2 words enough to describe. Because if you make it too long, then nobody's going to read it. And, you know, personality is like really important when you're making your story or your drawing, sorry. So you need to make it like simple, cut to the chase, not like a monologue like, oh, she's actually nurturing because she had to, she had to choose to work with the IPC because if she didn't, she would die, and she didn't want to have the life of both her and Gray, like the little baby, she don't know her name yet, the little baby on the line. So she's nurturing because this little baby was literally born into the IPC. So she needed an older sister figure that was from a similar galaxy. They don't know they're from the same planet. They don't know that they're cousins. Or like distant cousins, kind of. Yeah. What would Corin be? What is your cousin's daughter called? Yeah, we'll never know. So she had to take the responsibility because all the other adults in the IPC, like Jade and Sugalai, they were pretty unreliable adults. Like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to explain their whole backstory and why. You're just going to write, she is a warm, nurturing mother. Blah, blah, blah. Because you could write like yeah, I just summed up everything I said in like a small word, because her adult figures in her life, they were useless. That's it, no more. Yeah, and then the backstory. Once again, obviously you've thought about this OC a ton. I bet you've created like insane fit scenarios for them. So you're gonna want like a small backstory about them, but you can't again explain the entire freaking thing. Like, why don't you just take them into your head instead so you can make them watch all of the war? Why don't you like make it into a mini movie? Because it's not gonna work. In Artfight, it is not gonna work. So you're going to make it like small. I made mine specifically for Corin. It was like a little long. It was like 3 sentences long. So, you know, that's good. And for Cordelia, I couldn't really say much about the backstory because there was really nothing that went on in the backstory. So I decided to bring in where she is currently in the story of Ninjago. Yeah. And I decided to bring important relations with characters, because in the permissions, you would probably want them to be with the characters that they're related to, be it like siblings, cousins, dating, whatever, best friends, parents. So you just want like a small explanation of the character. I just said she met Astria in the tournament and they're like mortal enemies. And Corin, she's a dating Sunday. That's it pretty much for like everybody in the relationship. Just something small. And you can even like write it in parentheses or whatever. And then details that are not going to be obvious in the drawing. For example, if you look into Corin's reference sheet, you are going to see that she has a lot of scars over her body. This is kind of what happened to her after being revived by the abundance. The revival, it was like it didn't work the best, so she has like cuts all over her body and her biology is all messed up. Yeah, like same for Gray, same for Boot Hill, same for everybody that was revived or whatever. So I just said that she doesn't feel any pain for them. You can draw something about them, specifically comedy, guys. We need to level up, guys. This is not working. Yeah, you can, like, she doesn't feel them at all. And for the I'm pretty sure I already said that in my reference sheet, but in Cordelia's I did also mention that the serpent form is her original form. And yeah, like anything else, she could just shapeshift into whatever she wants. So you technically have the creative freedom to draw her however you want. Boom. Easy. Fun. As for the permissions, these are actually really, really important because this is the boundaries that you don't cross and you don't want nobody to cross.
This could be like no 18 plus content, no furry content, not using AI. No, AI is actually a huge part of this. It is not allowed at all in Artfight. It is not considered art. You want an actual art form. So like AI is completely banned. You cannot use that. I think you can use Pic Crew, but I'm not too sure. I think they updated it in their thing. They said you can't use Pic Crew, and then a lot of people got mad at them. You know, who knows? None of my business. So yeah, you are going to like put everything you need, because these permissions are really, really important. You can look at some other people's to like sort of get it, understand it, but yeah, like you need to like focus on these permissions, because it's actually going to be like terrible if somebody breaks these. Like I have mine, no AI, no furry art, no NSFW, because you know we love safer work here. Duh. I think I have one more thing banned, but I don't remember. So yeah, like you need to make sure that your boundaries are stated, because otherwise some people get, like the ones especially obsessed with these types of stuff, it's like not gonna be good, you know. Like no commercial use if you guys don't want that. I don't personally mind my characters being a commercial use, but I just want credit. So you can add that you don't like your characters being used in videos and whatever. So yeah, it's important that you completely state your boundaries, because the other artists do not know your boundaries, and they will cross them. Like you can think that no furry art of a human character is completely normal, and then find out somebody's making a furry corn of your character. Say it's not gonna be good. So you need to state everything. It is a must. Side tangent, but I also think it's really important that you like decorate yourself, be it your profile or your character descriptions or your permissions, like everything, because Artfight is one of the only social media apps that genuinely allows you to edit however you want, and I mean full customization, be paid or not paid. So you should like definitely take advantage for this and make it easier for everybody to sort of understand what's going on in your thing, be it color coding words to show their importance. I color code characters and important details that should be remembered, to like personality, to how they look, whatever, how they feel. So those are two things that are really, really important for me to highlight, and I think you should really focus on doing the same, because you know these are like not garbage characters. You know, you should focus. You spent a lot of time on this, and you spent a lot of effort on this, so it would just be a waste to let everything go because somebody can't really focus on the words well. So you should like help out, increase the font size, change the colors, show everything, make sure that it's completely clear and readable. This is the same thing I was saying in your reference sheet. You should make everything clear and readable and disabled friendly or differently able friendly or whatever. Just make sure that you will not be losing anything, because it's going to be so sad if you like literally stated something down like, oh, Cordelia's original form is a snake, and then everybody just suddenly decides to draw her as like a monkey because oh, that's my headcanon for her original form, when it was literally stated, and it could have been like, and it's probably going to be my fault in the end if I had not already stated that in her description and had not made it clear. So I'm just saying you need to really, really focus on your details. I lied. There's still one more thing to be done. Promotion can literally be a make it or break it for your Artfight. If people don't know who you are, they're not going to see your account, they're not going to attack you, they're not going to do anything. I have heard of this feature that allows you to generate a random user or character, but over 600k have literally participated in this, so it's going to be a gamble really to be seen, and we don't want that here. there are so many ways, in which you can promote your account, such as using social media apps like YouTube and Instagram, or like Discord and Twitter, whatever, or other professional or more preferred things like DeviantArt and Unveil. You can also promote your stuff on OCSN. It's really common, or not really. Yeah, but this is a must. This is really, really important if you want to get seen, because otherwise nobody's gonna do your characters, and you're just gonna be like waiting for an attack, and nobody's gonna do anything except if it's a defense, which is gonna ruin the whole experience. So you need to work on promoting. It could literally just be a simple short or a short video, depending on the app, showing what you have done to prepare for Artfight, showing your characters, giving a small preview of their backstory. Anything helps. If you are here right now, I just really want to thank you and wish you an amazing Artfight season. May the best team win. And I really wish to see all of your attacks. Comment down below if you'd like for me to attack you. If this video does get enough likes and views, I will make another video soon documenting the whole Artfight experience and showing all of my attacks and defenses. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see it when it comes out. Bye bye! Comedy will win.